Hey guys, it's Meg and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'll be showing you how to create some cute spring related doodles, and let's just get into it. So I did sketch out everything in pencil first, but as it doesn't show up very well on camera, I just skipped that part and going straight in with the pen. So here I'm just doing my little title. I'm using my Tombow brush pens in the pastel colours, and this one is the pastel minty kind of green. And I'm just adding a little flower on the eye because why not, it suits the theme. And the first doodle I decided to do was a little rainbow going into a cloud. I don't really know why, it's not really spring themed necessarily, but I thought the colours went well with all the colours I'm going to be using, kind of spring colours. And then I went into a little bumblebee. This is one I've used in my March setup, so if you want to see that, go check it out in the top right hand corner. Then I did a little butterfly as well, and I tend to use the dotted lines coming out of the bee and the butterfly to show the trail of where they've flown. Just kind of a cartoony type design that I think looks really cute. I'm also using these little tiny leaf doodles to go in any of the gaps just to make the page look a little fuller, but this is simply drawn with a line and lots of little lines coming off of it, and then a teardrop shape on the ends of all those lines to make the leaves. Then of course it couldn't be spring doodles without a few flowers, so I've chosen a few of my favourites that I like to draw. They're all just really simple and easy and they look really cute. I don't know the exact names of all these flowers, but the first one is just a simple circle in the middle with the 5 petals, kind of a classic, and then I did a kind of tulip style one, a little rose style one, and I've also done one that's kind of like a sunflower, even though I'm pretty sure they are not a spring flower, but you get the gist, and it looks really cute and it's fun to colour in. So I've also done all of these in quite a basic line drawing type of style, so I've added leaves onto most of the stems just because the stems I won't be colouring them in, they'll just stay as the one line. So I thought adding some leaves would give it a pop of that green colour without having to actually colour over the line that will be the stem. Then I also added a tiny little ladybird onto this long leaf. It's kind of hard to see, so I've zoomed you in, but I just thought it would be a cute addition and a nice little bit of colour on the green leaves. Then onto some other doodles. I'm doing an umbrella here. I don't know if it's a thing elsewhere in the world, but in the UK we call it April showers when it kind of rains in the springtime, so I thought that would be a cute little doodle to include. My umbrella actually didn't go particularly well. I can draw them better than this, I promise, but they're really easy. I just went a bit wobbly on some of the lines, so just ignore that. And then onto a little bunch of flowers. I did tulips for this one, seem pretty spring flowery, and the head of the tulip flower itself is really easy to draw, just sort of a squished oval shape with a line down the middle, and that's you done for the tulips. Then I did a little wheelbarrow. I thought this would be something quite cute to include, almost like gardening type theme, so it's got flowers in the wheelbarrow, some leaves hanging out, and then I also added a few vegetables. Again, I don't know if these are seasonal, but I added in a beetroot and a carrot, but it actually reminds me of my A-level art final piece because I did an acrylic painting of a wheelbarrow that was from my nan's garden, so I obviously have a thing for wheelbarrows. I'll include a picture if I can find one because that was really fun. Good end to my school art career as well because I got an A star, so yeah, fun fact. And moving on to the little welly boots, these kind of tie in with the April showers and the umbrella because especially if you're in the UK, spring does not necessarily mean good weather, so I thought this would be a good and kind of realistic addition. Then I had a little plant, same as I've drawn for the ones that I've used to fill in all the gaps. This one's in a plant pot, and then I put a little watering can beside it, so it's like watering the plant, just really cute, always fun to colour in. And you won't necessarily just be creating a doodle page like I am, maybe you are, but if you're just using it to decorate a bullet journal spread or something, then using things like patches of grass or random leaves is a good way to fill in any empty space whilst still keeping it in the theme that you're creating the spread in. I then added a little bird box. The bird is standing on the roof. I don't really know why he's not in the house, but you know, he wants to be there so he can stay there. Then I added a little butterfly and some more leaves to fill the gaps. And then my kind of random addition was a strawberry plant. I don't know why, but I really wanted to draw one, so I did. I don't even know if it's accurate. Again, is this a spring thing? Who knows? I also don't know exactly what kind of leaves are meant to go on a strawberry plant, but I think it looks really cute, especially when the colour comes. You see why it was a good choice. Then I filled up the last little gap, and it's time to rub it all out and get ready for the colour. So I started off with the green, the same one I've used in the title, because I thought it would be good to use the same colour palette all the way through. Kind of pastel spring colours made sense to me, so that's what I went with. But as I was filling in the green, I decided it might be good to add in a few different shades of green, so in a minute you'll see me start adding in a slightly darker shade to some of the areas of green just to give it a bit of depth. But this mint green is definitely one of my favourite colours. I even had a car this colour, which I have just recently sold, which was pretty sad, but she was a gorgeous girl. So yeah, pastels are definitely my favourite colour, and if pastels aren't necessarily your thing, you can use a more realistic colour palette for your doodles if you prefer, but I thought this was fun. It kind of reminds me of Easter, Easter eggs, spring, all that kind of good stuff, so that's what I've gone with. And also whenever I have quite a bit to colour in, I try to be efficient and use the same colour for everything that needs that colour. So for example, I did all the green, then I did all of the yellow on the left hand side, then all of the pink on the left hand side, all the purple, etc. I'm also trying my best to work on the left side first and then the right side, just because once I've finished doing a YouTube video, I tend to then try to crop it down to also turn it into a TikTok video, just because it's a pretty sensible way to do it, repurpose the content and all that stuff, and it means I can share it with a wider audience. So that is why I'm trying to do one page at a time, but it's really hard. It's kind of tempting to want to colour in everything that I just feel like in the moment. And yeah, this whole time I was just wanting to colour in that strawberry plant, so it took real restraint for me to hold off. But here I'm just colouring in the rainbow. I try my best to colour in the same direction, which I would recommend anyone using felt tip pens does, because you can see some lines when you're colouring with felt tips, but if they all go in the same direction, it's not so distracting. Another tip is if you're trying to use a colour that maybe doesn't quite fit with your current colour palette, maybe it's a colour you've not yet used. So for example here, I've got the pale blue that I've used in the clouds. I also used that in the bumblebee wing, so it ties it all together a bit, balances it out. Same thing with the brown that I've used in the middle of the sunflower. I also use that again on the wheelbarrow and the strawberry plant basket. So if you've got a colour that isn't actually in your colour palette and you want to include it without it sticking out and looking a bit strange, then as long as you balance it, use it in a few different areas, then it will tie in nicely. So here I am using a second shade of green, a slightly darker one like I mentioned earlier, just to give it a bit more depth, and I've used it in the wheelbarrow and also on the strawberry plant leaves just to add another shade of green into the mix, as it was getting all a little bit pale green washed, so I thought this would liven it up a bit. Then I'm on to colouring in the little plant pot and watering can. So this is another example of when I'm using those colours that maybe don't necessarily fit into this colour palette, like I said, the browns, and also this paler brown that I've used on the tulip bouquet. So hopefully all of these kind of random extra colours don't stick out too much because they're balanced and it ties it all together if you use them more than once. But here we are finally colouring in my little strawberry plant that I've been looking forward to this whole time. Look how cute it looks. I just think it's such a sweet little addition and a good take on the whole hanging basket kind of doodle that's quite popular with bullet journals at the moment. And then I went ahead and coloured in the little wellies. I did them yellow, grey on the inside to show it's kind of a shadow because it's the inside section of the boot, and then I made the little spots purple because yellow and purple are complementary colours, so those always work well together. The birdhouse I then did with the same brown as the tulip bouquet to tie those together, and the bird is purple. I don't really know why. The beak is even purple, so just ignore that. And then I did the wheelbarrow, and the watering can is in the same blue as the blue on the cloud and the bumblebee wings. Hopefully you can kind of see what I'm doing here and it makes sense. And I don't know why, but I wanted a yellow wheelbarrow, so that's what we've got. But this is part of the fun. You get to colour everything in the exact colours you want. It doesn't have to be accurate or anything. And I also love the fact I added a little splash of mud on the wheelbarrow because it's just those little details that make it all come together and have a little personality. Then I wanted to improve the title a little bit just because the mint green was sort of fading into the background a bit, so I thought I would go in with the pink and add a little drop shadow, but for some reason whilst I was doing it I seemed to forget exactly how you do them, so excuse it if it's a little bit random in some places, but I thought the pink would balance with the green really nicely, and I did like it, but once I'd finished the pink it still felt like it wasn't quite standing out enough, so I then decided to go around the edge with a fine liner just to make it all stand out a bit more. But this was kind of a big mistake because I'd already done the drop shadow, so this meant it was really difficult for me to do the outline correctly without going over where the shadow would be and blah blah blah. It was just kind of stressful, and as I was doing it I was thinking, oh no, I shouldn't have done this, I've ruined it now, like the whole spread is finished and I've ruined it with this title. But at the end I then looked through my camera, which I have overhead, and I thought it actually looked really good. So there's a little life lesson for you. If you think it's not going well, just persevere and it should turn out alright at the end. I don't know whether that was more luck than anything, but I'm really happy with how it's turned out. And that is it for this video. I really hope you've enjoyed watching it. Sorry if some of the doodles aren't necessarily spring, but you get the gist. It looks cute and it's all colourful and pastel coloured, which I love, so Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and hit the notification bell if you want to stick around and see more of my videos, and I'll see you in the next one.